Last thing I wanted to discuss is what do we do with student work ethic? What employers would call soft skills. Um, from what I hear and what I'm being told, businesses are just clamoring for students who have these soft skills in place. Students who can work in a team, who can collaborate, who can be on time, who can be responsible. And in fact, they need these more than they need the content because any sort of math content that they need, most times they're going to learn it on their job anyway because it's actually going to have a purpose and a use at that point. And so, arguably, these non-content related areas that we're teaching them in the classroom are more important than our summative grades based on the content. Take for example the Illinois Social Emotional Learning Standards. Where are those on the math test? How are we including those into our grades? And so, what I would argue is that we probably need something like an employability score, a work ethic score, a self regulation strategy score, where we can differentiate between things like effort and participation and teamwork, communication skills. Those things would be a part of this kind of employability or work ethic score. So, for example, you could develop a rubric where we take a look at attendance, behavior, effort, participation, work completion, punctuality, organization, study skills, teamwork, content, communication. All of these things could be things that the employers are going to want to look at and know how well a student does at these things. I think we could be giving a grade on these particular things exactly the same way that we give a grade on math. The only difference is that right now in the current climate and in years past we've kind of mixed these together with content grades, and that's what's messed the whole thing up, is that we never know what a student's grade actually means because we have too many of these other things built in. Now, these things, again, that we see right here, these are probably way more important than the math that we actually teach them, because most of the math that we teach students beyond fifth or sixth grade or fourth grade even, the vast majority of Americans are never going to use again after they get out of college. Okay, they're just never going to use it again, and so these particular skills are way more important in my mind, but we still can't confuse them with how well students are doing at the mathematical skills and concepts. So instead, what I think we should be doing, if I had a perfect world, what we would do is we would assess students in their mathematical knowledge, and we would assess them here in these kind of soft skills, these work ethic skills, and have both of those for every class period separated out. And we would still also have the formative assessment data available, but it wouldn't actually be a grade. Okay, they would never get a grade based on that progress or anything like that. It would just be useful as far as formative and learning heading towards the summative. So we'd have three kind of components, but they would all be separate, and we would know what each of them do within each class. And to do that well, if, again, in a perfect world, I would think that we would do away with the current standards that we have. We would, do away with the current structure of our educational environment where we send kids through based on age, and that basically we're socially promoting them so that they can stay with their age group peers. And instead, what we would have is more of a martial arts type system where you take summative assessments when you're ready for them, and different people are learning in different paths, different they have different opportunities, or not different opportunities, sorry, they have the same opportunities to learn, but they would go to a different level based on their own unique potential and needs. And so it would be perfectly acceptable for somebody to graduate high school with a fifth grade level mathematics mastery, and the person next to them would have kind of a 12th grade level mathematics mastery. That would be absolutely fine, because we would be taking students where they're at and moving them forward in their education. So that would be kind of my perfect world. I don't see us heading that direction anytime soon. So until then, I do think it's important to still keep track of these work ethic categories here and stress to students that these are important, and these are probably some of the most important things that they can be learning. So if there's any way that you can work those into a report card system or a grading system, it doesn't have to count towards things like retention, which is a whole nother discussion anyway. It doesn't have to count towards promotion, to the next grade level, but I think it is an important qualitative piece of information to be sharing with students and parents to encourage them to develop these skills that are going to serve them throughout the rest of their life. So these are all the things that we've got on assessment, and like I said, if you've got any other ideas, please contact me and let me know. Thanks for joining me.